Hello, I'm Kathleen Snyder and welcome to Backstage Antiques. This week on Backstage Antiques we are featuring our studio audience program. With me tonight are our panel of experts, Carol Hutton of Patterns of the Past of Countryside, Illinois, Colonel Neville Christian, auctioneer and appraiser, and Edna Barth, appraiser. Thank you for being with me tonight, girls, and thank you, studio audience, for coming out on this first hot day. Our first item coming up will be from Mrs. Ann Eggleston. Ann? Thank you. This is a tri-handled pattern glass toothpick holder. It has a little gilt on it. And Carol, do you want to say a few things about it, or given?
Well, age of it, I would say probably between 1890 and 1900, and a value on it, if it's looks like a little of the gold is worn off, but there's no chips or anything on it, I would say around $40.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Eggleston. Thank you. June Rowley. June has brought us two beautiful dolls this evening. They need restoration, but their parts are all there. We've asked her just to bring up the head of one and the dismembered body of another. The body in the bag, it sounds terrible, but the body in the bag is a Kessner character baby. It's number 151. It's a little boy because he has a cute little face. Nevelyn, do you want to mention something about the little baby?
Well, yes, I think boy dolls are one of my favorites. They're more collectible. They're harder to find. I would say that its value is worth, I'm just guessing now, I have not looked it up, I'd say about $400, $450. Does anyone else want to add to that?
Is that restrung or just in the condition it is?
Restrung, or even in the condition it is. It's all there. And the metalhead, we've only had one metalhead doll. Is the body composition or wooden?
It's what?
It's a wooden. And I would, just as a guess, say about $250, but then again, I need help from my other... I sell many things all year. I'm an auctioneer and we do sell things. But with the four of us, we're hoping that we can answer all your questions. It would be a lot easier if we went home and looked them up in the book, which we usually do. But would you like to add something to that, Carol?
I just would say I think that's kind of high.
On the metal doll?
Both of them.
On both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, dolls they're going up. It's one. It's still number one in any collectible item are dolls. Still number one. So it's amazing how they fluctuate, I think. What do you think, Edna? We had a doll.
Well, I'm just thinking, I have a doll with a metal head, and I have never seen one, and I cannot find out anything about the one that I have, but it just has a cloth body. It doesn't have...
And do you remember what you paid for your metal doll?
$25.
And may I ask what year?
Well, you have to remember, she's lost her hands.
Yes.
She lost her feet.
Yes, she is as is.
Yeah, she was as is, but I just loved it because it was so different, and I had never seen one with a metal head.
Well,
And
thank you.
so I have
The back of
researched
the
it.
metal head is marked with a shield and a G in it. And it could be Germany or something, but we'll try to look it up for you at a later date, June.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing them this evening. Colleen Hay has brought us an 1860 mother of pearl stamp box that's inlaid beautifully. It's probably from the Civil War time. It is gutta percha. Edna, do you want to could you hold that up so that camera could get at it? Thank you. That's perfect. Edna, do you want to make a few comments on it? Or?
Well, it's lovely, and it is inlaid, and I would say that would probably have been part of a whole set, a desk set of some kind, and that would be about as much as...
Carol, do you want to add a little something?
One of the questions probably that comes up is what is a gutta percha, and it's actually a resin from a tree is what it's made from. It's not a man-made material. And then probably the mother of pearl inlay was all hand set in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. The value on that, on the stamp box, we placed at about $75. Thank you. Betty Austin. Betty has probably brought us one of the prettiest pieces of glass I've ever seen. It's an acid and copper wheel cut. It is hand tinted. It is unfortunately not signed by the artist. It's just a beautiful piece. I think it's probably from around 1890 to 1910. Edna, do you want to make a few comments on that?
Well, it's lovely, and the thing that impresses me is that it's intact. So many of these beautiful things that we see so often are chipped and cracked, and to see something that lovely and that old all in one piece is a joy, and it is lovely.
Not only that, but the flower is unusual. Most of them are roses or a common flower. Now, you tell me what that is. Looks like an orchid. to me.
Orchid or an
Like an
iris.
Mhm.
Orchid,
probably an orchid,
just
yeah.
beautiful. You can bring that to my store.
Do we
Betty,
have a
anytime.
price on that, Kay? We did discuss that
We
earlier.
valued that at about $200 to $250.
All right, thank you.
Betty has also brought us, you can show your little baby because it's cute. Betty said that this was her great-grandmother's and it's been passed down for a few generations. It's a bisque doll. The hair is original. It's human hair. It's jointed. It's about 4 to 5 inches tall. Cute little legs and all hand-painted. The only thing new on it is the little dress. It came in a embroider's hoop, and it was attached with the little ivory little thing she has on it. I think I've said everything on it except I didn't put the value on it, and I would say it's worth between $75 and $100. It's in beautiful condition.
And it's a family piece I wouldn't part with.
Yes,
The vase we take.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty, very much. Joanne Pavich has brought us a wonderful Victorian
this
hair
is
wreath.
Absolutely beautiful.
Just, Joanne, that's just beautiful.
It is.
That's probably from around 1860 to 1880. It has different hair braids, different styles. Edna, you were really looking at that.
I
Do you
know.
want to?
It's probably the most beautiful piece of hair work that I have ever seen, and because it's so different. So many of them are braided in the usual way, but there are so many different things, and then they've also added the beading to this, which makes it even more unusual. It's just lovely.
Usually we get just a small little locket or
Just
something, nothing that
tiny.
Nothing
of
as big
that
as this.
value.
You girls want to tell her how much it's worth?
Well, I might make a guess and say about $250.
That's,
I think we all agree. It's just lovely.
It is lovely.
You can have the frame restored just a little bit professionally, but it's airtight. It's just a beautiful thing, Joanne. We appreciate your bringing it for us to look
Can you imagine
at.
how many hours?
No. Thank you very much. Charlene Kruger has brought us some costume jewelry from the 1920s and 30s. Carol,
Well, I would,
could you pick it up, please? honey?
Sure.
Thank you.
what I would say about the necklaces has a deco influence to it, and would say probably 1920s, 1930s. The longer pieces of kind of the butterscotch color, I would say, is probably a Bakelite or early plastic. The other beads, there's question. I would not say that they are amber. I would guess that they're probably a plastic also. And it has a nice look to it, and it's
I like the style. It's a nice style for now.
right.
Yeah, right.
We agreed that the
It
four
is.
of us felt that it was not amber, but she could have it checked, but we did put a value on it of $25, did we not?
And the deco right now is
It's very
just
popular,
so
yeah.
good.
Hottest
Oh,
thing,
and
like white sliced bread,
Yes.
which is really, deco is very in again.
I like to wear it.
You wear it
Even if
now.
it isn't.
wear it and enjoy it.
And it may be, there's
Yeah,
many
it's
ways to
lovely.
test amber. Kay, how do you test your amber?
Sometimes I heat the needle or I rub it on the tissue
See,
to
a lot of
see
people
and
do
the
not know
lightness
this,
of it.
that you can,
That you can,
It's
there's
supposed
several
to
different
float
ways.
in salt water too.
And
except
floats.
That would,
Yeah.
well, that's true.
Well, there are 3 or 4
Yeah,
ways.
it will float in salt water.
All right, we're going to break right now for a commercial. Thank you very much, Charlene. We'll be back after a brief message. Welcome back. This is the fun section of our program. This is where you can ask questions. Be very kind to us because we're chicken, but this is going to be really fun, and this will be a short segment. Would anybody like to ask any questions to any one of our experts or to all of us? Mrs. Austin?
Okay, I'm Betty Austin. I have a question. I want to know what types of antiques are growing in popularity. I'd like to know what types of antiques are growing in popularity.
Okay,
To start?
Evelyn?
One thing that has become extremely popular in the last 5 years that we can't keep up with, it's our vintage clothing. And including hats, this last year, we just cannot get enough vintage clothing or hats. Not that, that just happens to be a popular collection. But if you're going to collect something for your life, it could be anything, glass, silver, jewelry. I mean, anything is collectible. I hope someday we're not going to be collecting Tupperware.
Tupperware?
But right now, and dolls, I think, are still number one. And what comes after number one? Dolls and
I hate to say it, but depression glass.
depression glass.
You
and
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't
Yes,
collect it.
well,
Yeah,
that-
a lot of people like it.
in a lot of areas, I know in where Ann just had come back from, they
Hot
are
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Arkansas is
they
very
are,
big.
They are desperate for depression glass. We can't get the prices here that we can there, but any glass, any silver, anything. But dolls are number one. Clothing is coming in. Victorian jewelry, and of course, Art Deco is climbing every second. Are you
Really?
say something, Kay? Because that.
Carol, what's a hot item now with you in your store?
I would say right now it's a country influence. Baskets, stoneware, you know,
Primitives.
more primitives.
Edna?
Well, I think they about covered it, but one of the things that used to be so popular was the pattern glass, and that was my first love, and now there just doesn't seem to be any call for it at all, which is sort of unusual, I think, because it is a nice collector's item.
See, many things are being reproduced,
Well, that's
and
true.
that's what hurts.
Okay, I think we'll go on to the next question. Mrs. Nagel?
It's Mary Lou Nagel. I wanted to ask if antique jewelry has been engraved with initials or a date, is the value diminished?
If the jewelry is in a base metal, it cannot be buffed off. If it is in gold, platinum, or sterling, it can be buffed off. I would not say it is diminished because it adds to the authenticity of it, and the engraving that they did so long ago was so exquisite that you cannot duplicate it now. I think it would enhance the piece. Edna has a beautiful collection of jewelry, and I'm sure she would go
It
along with
wouldn't
that.
diminish it as far as I was concerned. You can always say it was your Aunt Grace's or something, you know, it doesn't make any difference. And the initials are usually intertwined so that you can hardly even tell what they are. So I wouldn't say that, I would never have them buffed off, even of sterling silver or any.
We have customers that especially buy the things that are engraved. They don't care if it's a Z or a P, it's so beautifully done.
Signet
That's what they
rings.
collect. They actually collect the engraving.
Okay.
And it usually means a better piece because they spent more to have it engraved in the first place, I think.
Also dates it.
Okay, does anybody else have a question? Your name?
My name is Charlene Kruger, and I would like to ask you about how you can tell if a necklace is real pearls or if it's fake.
Okay.
Very good question.
Usually the weight of the necklace will indicate if it's pearl or if it's glass. Most jewelers, and everybody does it, they still put the pearl to their teeth, and if there's a gritty, they go and they put it to their front teeth, and if there's a grittiness, that usually is a pearl. A pearl can be cultured, baroque, freshwater, anything, but pearls are, again, have made a tremendous comeback this year. And pearls seem to be eternally spring or something. Nevlin has pearls on tonight, but I'm not going to ask her if they're real.
No, but Kay is right. Sometimes you can tell if they're knotted between, but there are many pearls that have been restrung many years ago, and you might find them at a garage sale, but still the best way, and all the dealers do the same thing. You can actually take the pearl and you can clean your teeth with it if it's a real pearl. It is just like if you go to the dentist, you can actually clean your teeth. Not that your teeth need cleaning, but you can tell it that way. Well, all the other ones are soft, slippery, or you can bite them and they peel. But that's the best way to tell a real pearl.
Anybody else? We have time for one more question.
Hi, my name is Sharon Palermo. How do you price antiques?
Hi. We handle so many that we are able to, I think all of us would say this, by handling the different antiques and everything, buying and selling, that we can evaluate it that way. And we do use these particular books which we've brought tonight. Carol has brought the new 1985 Covell's Antique and Collector's Price List. We use these books. They're not etched in stone, though, but they are a guide for us. Nevelyn has brought the brand new 19th edition, which is just out this week, of Warman's Antiques. Edna has brought Warman's Antique and Collectible First Edition, which came out in January of this year. The Antique Trader, which is a bi-monthly magazine, has come out with a book this year. This is their first edition. And Schroeder's, who owns Collector's Books in Paducah, Kentucky, has come out with a most informative book, and everybody seems to be enjoying this book because it tells you a cross-reference of the country, what the price would be in California, what it would be in the Midwest, and what it would be in the East Coast.
And may I suggest one thing is common sense. If you know what people pay for things, and you look in the different books and you see all these different, you have to look at your piece, see how perfect it is, see what you think about it, and just use your common sense of what you would pay for it at the going price, and I think that's probably one of the best ways to sell it.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back after this brief message. Welcome back to the studio audience participation. We're going to continue our appraisals, and we'll start off with Judy Witt, please. Judy has brought us a magnificent small picture. It's about 3.5 inches tall. It's Royal Bayreuth Bavarian. It's the tapestry pattern. It's just a beautiful piece. It's beautiful. Edna, would you like to make an evaluation on it?
Yeah, I'm very envious. It's something I've always wanted, just a piece of tapestry. And I like this particular kind. A lot of them have the roses on them, but I do like the scenic ones.
I have never seen
And
this
they're
either.
very, very rare.
Do you want
They're rare, and we haven't had a chance to even think about a price.
I thought about $250 to $300 for that piece.
I was going to say 300, so you took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, so we kind of
That's
agree on
especially
that.
I
lovely.
might explain why it's called tapestry.
You want to
Yeah.
give us some words?
Well, I
on
was
it?
just going to say, you might explain, you really can't see if you're get away from this piece the beauty of it. And actually why it's, called tapestry is the texture in the surface of it. And if you get a chance after the program to take a look at this, it's really beautiful.
Okay. Thank you very much, Judy. Mrs. Nagel has brought us a sterling teapot from about 1860. She has the complete set at home. And she's also brought us a silver cup. The silver cup is hallmarked. We are not able to identify the hallmarks this evening, but she has told us that it dates back to about 1724. Nevelyn, do you want to make a guess?
No, my
on
only
that?
comment, it is very beautiful. I feel it is not sterling. I can usually tell by feeling and looking at it. I may be 100% wrong because the handle is the only part that, but a lot of people, that almost looks like it's been re-silvered at one time. And that by the bottom and the inside of the top. And they do not, a lot of people do not realize there are actually people that think that sterling should be re-silvered. Sterling is pure silver. You only re-silver an alloy, a copper or something. And that to me does not look like sterling, and it does not have them. I think it's beautiful, exquisite. I think it's worth money, but I feel it is not sterling. That's my thought.
Edna?
Well, I would go along with that.
Okay. Carol?
I definitely would go along with that. There's just something about it that you just have this immediate reaction that it's not sterling.
But a silversmith or anyone or a jeweler could tell you very easily. It's so beautiful. I'm not about to scratch it or turn it upside down, but really
It's just a beautiful mid-Victorian tea
The
service
shape
set.
is just lovely.
I would place the value on the teapot alone at about $400. Even though it is plate of the style and everything, it is antique silver. And I would place the value on the silver cup, which I think is at least 50 to 90% silver, at about $300. Thank you, Mrs. Nagel, for bringing those along tonight. Sharon Aldridge has brought us a piece of Goofus glass, which is a funny name, but when you see it, you'll know why. And a paperweight. Did you bring a paperweight too? Beautiful crystal paperweight, and a German chocolate pot. Edna, you want to start with the Goofus glass?
Well, the only Goofus glass that I've ever seen, generally there were so many of them, we always called them pickle jars because I was told that they came with pickles in them originally, but the paint was off of them, and then they were just clear glass. And that one is really very nice and unusual.
Okay. We're going to have to kind of go along with this real fast. I would say the Goofus glass is worth about $35. The German chocolate pot, which is very, very nice, and it was probably from about 1880, we valued at $65. And the paperweight, which is a family piece and is dated 1880 and is all engraved in the front, we valued at about $35 to $45. Thank you, Sharon, for bringing it tonight. Sharon Palermo has brought us a copper tea set from either Norway or Sweden. It's brass handled, it's tin lined, it could be the 1920s or could be earlier. Edna, do you have a comment on the valuation of that?
No, I wouldn't. Well, it's very lovely, and
Well, the one little teapot now, that is
It's
not...
like from a child set, I would think.
I just,
And I think that's the most valuable piece, is the tiny teapot.
Okay.
In other words, the three pieces are not matching. They're all three different pieces.
Yeah, the other I think is a butter warmer, and the other one is just like a little catch-all for something. I think the little teapot would probably be worth around $50. The little
that's
chubby
the-
pot would be about maybe $25, and the butter thing about $35. The base tray that it's sitting on is probably worth about $15 to $20. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Nancy Van Cura has brought us this is Edna's favorite,
Yeah,
the
mine.
cranberry pickle caster. Edna?
well, it's lovely, and I'm particularly like cranberry. My daughter-in-law collects cranberry, of course, one of the most expensive things you can buy. And I would say that was a pickle caster and probably came in a frame. They usually came in a frame, and with the fork, they had a place for the fork hanging on the frame. And that would be my feeling about what it is. It's lovely.
And the value on that, Edna, I think we placed it about $125, the Britannica top. Okay, thank you. Diane Voss has brought us a beautiful cut glass pitcher that's copper wheel cut and engraved, and it's just a lovely, lovely piece. And she's also brought, you better hold that, Nancy, a cameo and 14-karat gold ring with two little diamonds setting off the points. Carol, you want to talk about the cameo?
The cameo is lovely. I would say it's probably an Art Nouveau piece, which would be about 1900, 1910. Value on the ring would say probably about 175 to 200.
The cameo was a shell cameo, too. We'll point that out. It's not lava or anything. It's very, very nice. Nevlin, you want to say something about the picture? And fast.
I'll have to say it real fast. I believe it's etched and not cut glass. That's my opinion. I think it's a lovely piece of crystal, but I would not call it cut glass.
Okay. And would you put a value on that?
I'd say about 95 to 125.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sue Schwent has brought us some hat pins, a tobacco jar, and some very nice earrings. Nevlin, you want to start with the tobacco jar? I think it says Royal Brooksonia.
Yeah, Bruxonia.
Bruxonia.
Bruxonia. Bruxonia.
Well, I can't say much. I think it's very unusual, and I like, most people collect things with animals on it.
Cute
And
little size.
For a tobacco jar, I think it's very small, very interesting. I really couldn't tell you much about it. I could probably put a value on it.
Okay.
I don't know, did we discuss a value or not?
We
Or
did.
am I supposed to guess because
We're
I
going
don't
to see how
remember?
smart you are now.
Well, I would say like between 75 and 95. What have you got on it?
We were about the same.
All right, very
About the
good.
same on that, so. Nevlin knows her story on that one then.
In the, I see, I didn't see that.
The
Oh,
hat pins and, oh, the
The
earrings.
earrings, did anyone see the earrings? I have not seen the earrings.
The earrings are brass. They have glass with them. They're late 1890 to about 1915. They're really long. You'd have to have a neck like a giraffe. I think
Or
we
a
put the
swan.
value of the earrings, there you go, Edna, at about
What do they call that dance?
$125. Thank you, Sue, for bringing the little goodies tonight. Marge Smetlack has brought us a most unusual typewriter. The typewriter is from
Isn't
the
that cute?
Lambert Typewriter Company in New York. It has patents in, and this is what it says on the back, it's not that I'm that intelligent, England, Germany, Spain, Italy, about 12 different countries, and it was United States patented October 21st in 1884. So this little cookie's 101 years old. We've probably put the value on that between $75 and $100, Marge. That's a very interesting piece. You don't see that typewriter. Thank you very much for bringing
I'm
that
just happy
this
I don't
evening.
have to type up the appraisals on that.
You're right on that. Elaine Nordmeyer has brought us a hand-painted Nippon vase. The vase is probably from around 1910 to 1920. It has a little hairline crack in it. It's very, very attractive. In the condition that it is in, it's worth between $35 and $45. And we want to thank you for bringing that,
Nippon
Elaine.
was, lasted about 30 years. Actually, Nippon was the name of Japan in their language. And in 1921, they made it back to Japan again, using the American name.
Our final item is from David Wayne, who is a student at RB High School, and he's brought a couple of little collectibles. Mrs. Austin will present them. He's brought us a French ivory, which is celluloid button hook, which was used between about 1890 to about 1930, believe it or not. And we placed a value on that between $5 and $10. And he's also brought us a comic of Metal Man, and this is from 1966. And I think Carol, who reads comics in her part-time, valued this at about $10. And we want to thank you, Betty, for bringing those for us. Thank you for joining us on Backstage Antiques. I want to thank Carol Hutton of Patterns of the Past, Colonel Neville and Christian, appraiser and auctioneer, and Edna Barth, appraiser, for being with us tonight. I want to thank our studio audience for bringing so many very lovely things and diversified things in. And we thank you for showing your interest in antiques. And we hope to see you very soon again on Backstage Antiques. Again, thank you for watching.